underway, how you can save while planning your summer getaway. And Walk, Talk, and Roll, a local event brings awareness to accessibility in Athens. Newswatch starts right now. Air quality alerts are in effect for the entire state of Ohio. Good evening, I'm Ariel Lyons. Welcome to Newswatch. Smoke from the Canadian wildfires continues to pollute the air even in southeast Ohio. The Ohio Department of Health says exposure to smoke can cause health problems for anyone, but certain groups are more at risk than others. Those with chronic heart or lung disease, children, the elderly, and pregnant women are encouraged to take precautions until the air quality improves. Pulmonary critical care physician Dr. Tyler Anderson says symptoms can look like coughing, shortness of breath, chest tightening, and wheezing. Dr. Anderson has a few tips on how to stay safe.
When you have to go outside, do so in the early morning or late evening. Avoid going out in the middle part of the day. The hottest time of day is also going to have the worst air quality. And if you're feeling like something is off, then contact your healthcare professional.
Millions across the U.S., including southeast Ohio, remain at risk of inhaling potentially harmful air no matter how hard they try. Weather trackers say winds are pushing thick smoke farther south into the mid-Atlantic. Karen Kaifa has the latest on where the biggest air dangers are now and where they're heading next.
I can feel it in my lungs, and when I'm walking around, I can it's pretty intense.
The nation's capital now in the thick of the hazardous haze.
I felt like I couldn't really breathe, catch my breath as I usually would be able to.
The Canadian wildfire smoke that's been choking New York this week is slowly pushing across the Northeast. Places like D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia suffering air quality ranging from unhealthy to very unhealthy.
The fine particles can penetrate deeply into fragile lung tissue, causing symptoms including cough, shortness of breath, and wheezing.
New York slightly improving Thursday, downgraded to unhealthy from hazardous on Wednesday. Various airports in the region are experiencing ground stops or delays due to low visibility. The FAA listing the changing conditions for passengers at fly.faa.gov. The South not immune, cities like Raleigh, North Carolina and Louisville, Kentucky experiencing varying alerts such as moderate or unhealthy for sensitive groups.
Just kind of chill out. Take a break, sit on the couch, watch some TV, listen to music, do a podcast, write a book.
Forecasters expect the smoke to roll over the Northeast, New England, and Midwest into the weekend, but say a new storm system from the west next week should bring substantial relief. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
Here to talk about how much longer the smoke will affect the U.S. is Newswatch forecaster Emily Dietz. Hi, Emily.
Hi. Yeah, so a lot's going on right now, and this haze is going to hang around for a little bit longer. As long as these winds are going to keep pulling that smoke down, we're going to continue to see it because these fires are still burning very strong. So as long as that wind's going on, we're still going to see it. But right now in Athens, we're experiencing some really nice temperatures where it's about 74 out right now with clear skies. We saw a couple of clouds earlier today, but that cleared up quite nicely. And we'll kind of continue to see a little bit of clearing pattern moving on into the rest of this week, but that'll end this weekend. Overall, though, a lot of Ohio is in an air quality alert, and that is largely due to those wildfires happening up in Canada. Now, even though these fires are hundreds of miles away, that wind is really just pulling them down, and it may be hard to see Ohio on this map, so we're sitting right around this region, and a lot of this line here kind of marks central Ohio. So middle to northern Ohio is experiencing the most dense smoke, but we're still experiencing some of it, and we'll continue to see that going on. And a lot of that is from that low pressure that's really swirling around that we've continued to monitor over the past 24 hours, along with this cold front that's also helping to drive some of that smoke down into our region. Now tonight we'll continue to see some of those clouds from that low pressure. No rain or anything tonight, so it'll be partly cloudy, and another low in the 40s. It'll be 47 tonight. Back over to you, Ariel.
Thanks, Emily. Some East Palestine residents say they remain skeptical after a test on local plant tissue shows no contamination from the February train derailment. The tests run on the plant tissue samples were done by the Ohio Department of Agriculture and Ohio State University. The tests were meant to look for semi-volatile organic compounds. Residents say they're unsure why volatile organic compounds were not also tested. The Ohio State soil professor Jeff Hattie says volatile organic compounds would not have been detectable by the time sampling began. He also said they did not test for dioxins, a group of toxic chemicals, because previous testing by the Environmental Protection Agency did not find them above normal levels. The Ohio Department of Transportation is giving a grant to build 2 new bridges at the Moonville Rail Trail. The grant, totaling $2 million, was awarded to Vinton County. ODOT says the 2 bridges will be installed over Raccoon Creek on the trail. The funds come from the ODOT's Transportation Alternatives Program. The areas are directly east of Moonville Tunnel and will be the longest and highest on the trail. Moonville Rail Trail is 10 miles long. The newest tool for the Washington County Sheriff's Office is paving a new way to contribute to their investigations. Newswatch reporter Caleb McCleskey spoke with Washington County special deputies about the recent addition to their department's arsenal.
Hovering hundreds of feet above the ground is the newest tool for the Washington County Sheriff's Office. This drone is not your average recreational toy. The Matrix 300 weighs 8 pounds and has a 2 feet wingspan, making it the largest drone in the department.
The huge majority of our drone operations are for search and rescue, and that was really the premise to start it as well.
Washington County bought 3 drones and a robot with the $165,000 grant from the Ohio Emergency Maintenance Agency. Deputies use different drones depending on the situation, from searching for missing persons or fugitives to giving deputies an extra pair of eyes when serving search warrants. Their largest drone can track individuals or vehicles, display heat signatures, and show the heat exposure on different surfaces.
Then we can capture things well over a mile, mile and a half away if we need to.
Excuse me, anytime you take a drone, an unmanned aerial vehicle, and you put it in the air, it's a controlled vehicle now, it falls under FAA federal airspace rules.
The Sheriff's Office says along with FAA rules, the department has rules and policies on when and how a drone is used.
Our focus and our usage of the drone unit is not in a surveillance type situation at all. We're not biased in that situation in doing those type of operations.
But privacy advocates have concerns with the use of the technology.
Who has access to the data and for what reasons? A very big concern with drones and all this type of technology. And then third, how long is this data kept for? Our preference on all this type of technology is if you don't need it, get rid of it absolutely as soon as possible.
Special Deputy Dwayne Brandon says the drones have not only helped Washington County, but also other counties nearby. The Sheriff's Office believes drones and surveillance technology have only scratched the surface of what it is capable of. For Newswatch, I'm Caleb McCleskey in Washington County.
To find out more information about drone policies, you can go to the ACLU's website at www.aclu.org. New government policies places Ohio as force in the nation for renewable energy development so far in 2023. Much of that development is utility-scale solar projects on farmland in the western part of the state. But one expert says the state's electricity transmission infrastructure will need to be updated to support more renewable energy development. The Pleasants Power Station in West Virginia has made another step forward in continuing operation. Pleasants County Commissioner Jay Powell announced the California-based Omnis Technologies has signed a letter of intent to purchase the plant. If Omnis purchases the plant, it will be used to generate energy using a hydrogen byproduct from the company's graphite production. Powell says this is not the final step of the process, but a deal could be completed this summer. Coming up after the break, Stewart's Opera House hosts the first annual Happy Hollow Hootenanny. Plus, how you can save on your summer vacation.
We are looking at some rain coming in this weekend, what we can expect and more this weekend and next week when Newswatch returns.
When we tell our stories, we leave the black stories out, and the Buffalo Soldiers were a perfect example of that.
The Army gave him the only part of the American dream that the nation would let him share.
It gave them a sense of respect to wear the uniform of the United States.
We say African American history, but we got to get out of that. It's American history.
Tuesday at 9 on WOUB.
Thanks to viewers like you, we've been able to tell America's stories on this PBS station. Help us continue to tell these stories now and for future generations by including this station in your charitable plans.
Supporting this PBS station through a gift in your will is easy. To find out more, call the number on your screen or visit this website. Thank you.
There's some of the best railway adventures in America.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Offering luxury service, incredible views, and a unique experience.
It gives people a chance to relax.
It's a nostalgic look.
Look how big it is. It's huge.
At these one-of-a-kind trains.
It's like traveling back in time.
The golden age of train travel.
On great scenic railway journeys.
Saturday at 8 on WOUB.
Memory is one of the most important functions of the brain, and problems with it are becoming increasingly more common. In Memory Makeover, I'm going to give you the strategies you need to enhance your memory now and to reverse trouble in the future.
Saturday at 2:30 on WOUB.
Stewart's Happy Hollow Hootenanny, formerly called Old Time Music Week, kicked off just this morning, and for the first time, the event took place outside, making way for more opportunities.
One and two.
That's the sound of a very happy hootenanny, full of music, friends, nature, and food. The day begins at 10 a.m. with classes for instruments like banjo, guitar, and violins. Participants get into groups based on instrument and skill level.
They really try to help people feel comfortable trying things, which is great for learning.
The afternoon consists of concerts, jam sessions, and workshops. As part of educational programs offered by Stewart's Opera House, those taking part are submerged into the cultural traditions and music of Central Appalachia.
So, have you heard High on the Mountain? Yeah. So what makes the hootenanny so special? Well, according to attendees like Julianne Knoxville, it's the people.
The people who make it.
The hootenanny is continuing all weekend and will wrap up on Sunday. Reporting live in studio, I'm Haley Hollinger.
Thank you, Haley. It sounds like a great time. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says this year's El Nino has officially arrived. I'm joined again by Newswatch forecaster Emily Dietz. Emily, what does this year's El Nino mean for our region?
Yeah, so first off, we're going to start, what is an El Nino? So when you start off, you have these trade winds that sit around the equator area, and they kind of pull that warm ocean water from the eastern Pacific towards the western Pacific. Now, when an El Nino happens, those trade winds start to weaken, and that warm ocean water actually starts to slosh back, and that creates this Pacific jet stream that it takes in all this moisture and creates a lot of flooding and a lot of rain for our friends down in those southern states. Now for us here in Ohio, we actually have a really dry and really warm conditions instead of all that rain, because we also have that polar jet stream which is sitting to the north. So we're sitting right in between those two storm tracks. So this summer we're expecting to see warm and dry conditions. But in the fall and winter, that El Nino will continue to strengthen and intensify just a little bit. So we're going to continue to monitor that throughout the rest of this year. But right now in Athens, we're absolutely gorgeous outside. Another 70-degree day. It's about 74 right now with clear skies. And overall today, we saw partly sunny skies, blue skies in the morning, and we're starting to see some clouds begin to roll in with a high of 74. Tonight will be a little chilly, down in the 40s, but overall not too bad. Now across the U.S., you can really see where that cold front just kept sweeping through. All those areas are sitting around the 70s, and those areas that the cold front hasn't moved through are in the 80s and 90s. And you may notice that up in the New England area, it's about the 60s and 50s, and that's largely due to the smokes from those fires up in Canada coming down and a lot of low pressure and clouds. But right now, majority of Ohio is under an air quality alert, once again from those wildfires up in Canada. Now that smoke is being brought down by a lot of wind. So we have some low pressure swirling in up here, and that's coming down into Ohio, which is right around here. It's a little difficult to see on the map, but central Ohio and up is a lot of that red area. So they're experiencing a lot of that, whereas here in Athens, we're experiencing just moderate haze, but we're still under an air quality alert. It'll continue to be, as you can see, a lot of this swirling, a lot of that wind coming down and pulling that smoke down towards us. Now tonight, those are also clouds coming into the area, so we'll see partly cloudy skies with a low of 47. Hopefully this will be the last of those 40s as things start to warm up just a little bit with some incoming high pressure. Tomorrow we'll see this begin to move in, pushing things away a little bit, allowing for a little bit of warming to go on. Now we also have that low pressure continuing to sit over to the east, and that'll bring in a couple clouds, leaving us with partly sunny skies and a high of 76 and an overnight low of 50. So things are really beginning to pick up, and this weekend it will be pretty warm. But on Saturday, we're still going to see a high sitting in this area, but we're also going to start to look at this low pressure developing out west. Now along this is a warm front right now, and it's going to develop into a cold front, so we'll see a warming pattern when this moves through, but then a quick drop to cooler air. And right now out to the west, that's producing a lot of rain and some thunderstorms, and that's going to continue to push eastward. And we'll start to see that Sunday mainly in the evening, and that'll pick up through the beginning of next week. But Saturday, we really see those highs. It's going to be in the 80s again. I know, I'm looking forward to it. So if you don't like the warm weather, I'm sorry to tell you, but it's going to start to pick up a little bit. We're moving into summer with that low of 54. Now on Sunday, we're seeing a 60% chance of showers once again in the evening as that low pressure begins to move in. And on Monday, we see a 70% chance of showers. So most of your weekend is looking quite nice. It'll be in the 80s, great time to get outside. But next week, if you're planning on going to the pool at all, it's not looking too hot for you. It'll be in the mid 70s with the lows in the 50s and a 70% chance of showers on Monday and a 50% chance on Tuesday. And the rest of this week, or rest of next week, excuse me, will just be looking a bit overcast. Back over to you, Ariel.
Thanks, Emily. New data shows air travel has largely rebounded and is soaring toward pre-pandemic levels. That's despite high inflation and higher interest rates weighing on consumer spending. As airports become crowded and flight prices soar, we have 5 expert tips on how to save money while planning your summer getaway. Patrick Cornell has more.
Higher costs impact airports, not keeping Americans from flying to their summer vacations this 2023. According to the International Air Transport Association, 4.35 billion people will travel by air this year, not far off the 4.54 billion passengers who flew in 2019.
Travel today looks much more like it did in 2019 than it has any of the past 3 years.
So what can you do to make your summer vacay more affordable?
I wouldn't push your luck. I certainly wouldn't wait until the last minute.
Travel expert Scott Keyes has these tips to help you save money while planning your travel. 1. Flexibility is key. Consider flying on weekdays or less popular travel days when demand is lower. That's when airlines often offer discounted fares.
Try to book your flight during what I call a Goldilocks window.
He says that's 1 to 3 months in advance for off-peak months or 3 to 7 months for peak times. 2. Set fare alerts. You can sign up to get them from your favorite airlines or price comparison websites. They track the prices of your desired flights and notify you when prices drop. 3. Explore different airports. Sometimes nearby airports offer better deals.
Getting a little bit creative can sometimes lead to some pretty substantial savings.
4. Travel light and pack smart. Skip checking bags to avoid extra fees. And finally, reconsider expensive hotels. Explore vacation rentals, guest houses, or hostels. For Consumer Watch, I'm Patrick Cornell.
Airlines expect to make almost $10 billion this year, despite economic slowdown. That's according to a new forecast released this week from the International Air Transport Association. After the break, Walk, Talk, and Roll returns to Athens this weekend. We speak with one of the event planners live in studio. And to stay up to date on the latest from Newswatch, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
Join us and watch Burt Bacharach and a stellar lineup of artists interpreting Bacharach's best-known music.
The world needs now. Do you know the way to San Jose? The chance to live.
Watch Burt Bacharach, A Life in Song.
Friday at 8:30 on WOUB.
From Motown to soul.
I've been really trying.
Marvin Gaye was a peerless songwriter.
What's going on?
And in 1976, he performed his most popular songs.
I heard it through the grapevine. How much longer would you be?
A night of incredible music. Marvin Gaye, Greatest Hits Live.
Sunday at 10 on WOUB.
Memory is one of the most important functions of the brain, and problems with it are becoming increasingly more common. In Memory Makeover, I'm going to give you the strategies you need to enhance your memory now and to reverse trouble in the future.
Saturday at 2:30 on WOUB.
Thanks to viewers like you, we've been able to tell America's stories on this PBS station. Help us continue to tell these stories now and for future generations by including this station in your charitable plans.
Supporting this PBS station through a charitable gift annuity is easy. To find out more, call the number on your screen or visit this website. Thank you.
The 5th annual Walk, Talk, and Roll event is set for tomorrow in Athens City. The event is sponsored by the Athens City Commission on Disabilities and Ohio University's Division of Diversity and Inclusion, and it's part of an ongoing conversation about improving accessibility in Athens. Here to talk more about the event is Athens Disabilities Commission Vice Chairperson Diane Bouvier. Welcome, Diane.
Hi, Ariel. Thanks for having me.
So what prompted the start of Walk, Talk, and Roll event 5 years ago?
So initially it was a program that was called Curbside Conversations that Rob DeLocke was interested in having people come and walk the city to look at how our curbs were for people who live with disabilities and sidewalks. And that he eventually joined the City Commission Accessibility and Advocacy Committee, and that's the group that actually puts on the Walk, Talk, and Roll. So we've been doing that for 5 years.
So other than the city tour, what else should people expect in Athens at tomorrow's event?
So we have both the tour part and then also a program that's going to take place at Howard Park, and which is at the corner of College and Union. And during that time, there are going to be speakers from City Council, from the city government, from the business community, people on the Disability Commission. And they're mostly going to talk about what are the things that the city has been doing to try to improve accessibility. And also, the business community is really important because we need them to help collaborate with the city when they're doing street projects. So one of the projects that I'm sure Davey McNelly, he's the chair of the commission, when he does the walking part, we'll talk about is that it's that when they do streetscaping, so like when they add sidewalks and fix the sidewalks on West State, that they will try to make more businesses accessible. There are a lot of businesses in Athens that have like 1 step or 2 steps to get into, which basically makes them inaccessible. So it's mostly to point out what things make things accessible or not, and talk about what are the plans to improve that.
So it's partnered with the city to promote an accessibility grant for owners. So what are the terms of this upcoming grant?
So there's a new pilot project that the city and commission are working on together, and that's a 50-50 matching grant. So if a business wants to improve, like add a push button to their door, or make the restroom accessible, or maybe add a ramp or have a portable ramp available, they can apply for a 50-50 grant with the city to access that. And the way to find out information about that is to go to the Athens City Commission on Disabilities website. There's a link to the form to fill out.
All right, well, thank you so much, Diane, for coming on the show for us. All right.
Thank you.
The Walk, Talk, and Roll City Tour will start at 11:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. You can get more information on the same at the City of Athens website. When we return, the U.S. Supreme Court releases its ruling on a trademark dispute between Jack Daniels and a dog toy. But first, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Forever, forever, you'll stay in my heart and I will. What do you get when you fall in love?
Join us and watch Burt Bacharach and a stellar lineup of artists interpreting Bacharach's best-known music.
The world needs now. Do you know the way to San Jose? The chance to live.
Watch Burt Bacharach, A Life in Song.
Friday at 8:30 on WOUB.
From Motown to soul, Marvin Gaye was a peerless songwriter. And in 1976, he performed his most popular songs. A night of incredible music. Marvin Gaye, Greatest Hits Live.
Sunday at 10 on WOUB.
When we tell our stories, we leave the black stories out. And the Buffalo Soldiers were a perfect example of that.
The Army gave him the only part of the American dream that the nation would let him share.
It gave them a sense of respect to wear the uniform of the United States.
We say African American history, but we got to get out of that. It's American history.
Tuesday at 9 on WOUB.
The music of Kenny Rogers has touched millions worldwide. And in 2017, a superstar lineup took the stage in Nashville. It's an incredible tribute to a musical legend. Kenny Rogers Farewell Concert Celebration.
Thursday at 8 on WOUB.
Finally tonight, this next story might sound like it's from The Onion, but it's true. The U.S. Supreme Court is weighing in on a poop joke. It's siding with Jack Daniels unanimously, saying the VIP product's dog toy on the right violates the distiller's trademark. The distiller can now revive its lawsuit against the toy maker. The real bottle on the left says Jack Daniels No. 7 Tennessee Whiskey. The dog toy parodies that with the words, "Bad Spaniels, the old No. 2 on your Tennessee carpet." It's not that the justices missed the joke, they just say the toy doesn't have free speech protections because commercial products have to follow trademark law. Apparently that's even true for poop jokes.
Wow, that's kind of crazy. That's
It's
funny,
interesting.
honestly.
Real Supreme Court justices had to say that.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I wish I had a dog to be able to enjoy playing with fun toys with, but I don't know if you have any dogs.
I
or-
have a dog named Ruby who's watching at home. I miss her terribly.
Oh, that is so cute. I just love to be able to go walk the dog outside, and it's really nice outside to be able to take your dog for a walk if you want to, or go to the dog park. And because tonight it's going to be about 47. Right now we're in the 70s, but tonight it'll drop down and be partly cloudy outside. So hopefully this will be the last day that we'll see temperatures in the 40s for the rest of this week. But right now, a lot of Ohio is under an air quality alert, largely from those wildfires that we are seeing up in Canada. So as long as that wind is blowing that smoke down south and those winds are moving in that direction, we'll continue to see a haze in our area. And it's a little bit stronger for our friends up in central and northern Ohio, but we're still going to keep seeing some of it with some weird sunsets where the sun might look a little orange. But tomorrow we'll see partly sunny skies with a high of 76 and a low of 50, so things are starting to warm up ever so slightly. This weekend's looking quite nice. So Saturday we'll have a high pressure system sitting over our area, leaving us in the 80s with mostly clear skies, but we're going to start watching that low pressure developing out to the west, because on Sunday in the evening and into the Monday most of the day, we're going to see a bit of rain coming through, and I know the grass could really use it. Things are looking a little bit dry outside.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For Emily Dietz, I'm Ariel Lyons. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org or follow us on social media. Have a great night.
Donating your old car, motorcycle, or truck helps support public television. And it may get you a pretty nice tax deduction, too. Plus, we make donating your car easy. Just call our toll-free number or visit us online.